All right, Emerge Americas 2019. Day one's almost a wrap, but we got one more panel to help us close this amazing day one out. Here to close out our Launchpad sessions for today, please join me in welcoming Gregory Adam Hale, President of Broward College, Mildred Coyne, Executive Director in Workforce Education and Economic Development, Broward College, Mason Jackson, President and CEO, CareerSource Broward, and Stephen Gross, Executive Director, Marketing and Strategic Initiatives, Broward College. Before I welcome our last group of panelists up, please direct your attention to the screens for a short video.
The Innovation Hub is a community of entrepreneurs and innovators, people who are coming together to launch businesses and get their creative ideas flowing.
Innovation Hub is an organization, if you will, or program that we have at Broward College that helps new businesses, new ideas grow. We utilize our students for internships and also bring them in for additional mentoring and advisement on their ideas.
The Innovation Hub really equips you with the right people at the right time and helps with finding resources you need that would be really difficult doing on your own.
One more, and then we're closing it out.
This program has given me a lot. Personally, I feel like it was a life-changing experience.
And it's cocktail time.
Because I learned so much information about starting a business, but also how to apply that information into everyday life, everyday activities as well.
During the Startup Now program, I actually was enabled with the tools and knowledge. We actually used the Lean Launchpad program to actually verify our assumptions about the business.
I received support from the Startup Now program, from Broward College, and just the overall Innovation Hub that created a network of resources through people and things that really helped move the business forward for me.
I'm an alumni of Broward College, and that's how I found out about the Innovation Hub. So I found out about the Innovation Hub. I spoke to Enrique. He said, you know what, we have a co-working space. We'd love you to come. And I came, it was just me. It was just me, and then my company started to grow to 2, 3, now 4 individuals.
Immediately, I had no business before starting this program. So the advantages that this program allowed me to be able to learn how to operate a business, how to test a business model, as well as different strategies and techniques to perfect the model, as well as use those in everyday life. So it allowed me to grow not only as a business person, professionally, it allowed me to grow personally as well.
This program not only includes marketing, accounting, and entrepreneurship, but we also use 2 national programs called Startup Now and Lean Launchpad. As these students are going through this process, if you will, they're being mentored and advised by those individuals that we have within our organization and outside who have actually been successful in starting their own businesses.
I think the moment you hear they are recruiting for the next cohort, you should sign up right away. This is a wonderful experience, both from a personal standpoint and professional, to build your business.
The advice that I will have for other people who are thinking about coming to the Startup Now program is twofold. One, be prepared. The other thing that I will advise is have faith. Have faith that it will work. Have faith that the dots will connect.
One big takeaway would be, do not isolate yourself as an entrepreneur.
If you are thinking about launching your business, I highly, highly recommend you apply for this program. It is not easy, but it's going to enable you with the tools, with the knowledge and the network to help you launch that business, to actually increase the odds that you are going to make it.
The Innovation Hub at Broward College and the overall Startup Now program is a great component for the community. It has definitely produced a lot more businesses locally, and that directly adds to the local economy here. In addition, it really equips the people that are part of the program to just be better business people and better corporate citizens in general, and that's something that can always impact wherever you are.
Are these on?
Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Now you can hear me?
Good afternoon. How is everyone?
What we want to do today is actually tell a story of how Broward College has entered what we believe to be one-of-a-kind entrepreneurial experience for not only our students, our faculty, but also our community. In 2015, we started off with the Innovation Hub, which actually was taking place in Cypress Creek, where we had 16 startup companies and over 40 student interns. From that, we continued growing, and we moved downtown, if you will, and we began to look at other programs that would help us actually fill out the entrepreneurial experience. With that, we brought in Startup Now, and in fact, CareerSource Broward, and Mason Jackson. And Mason, talk to us about Startup Now.
I will, but the year was really 2011 for us. We started off with a program funded by the Department of Labor called Startup Quest. And it was really a training program looking at some of the products that were developed by the national laboratories and the universities and using it as a training device to train people on how to start their own businesses. About that time, there was talk about an innovation hub at Broward College. And so we reached out to Broward College, pulled them in, and began that training program. Fast forward to 2015, as Steve said, and we tweaked the model a little bit. We decided to use the ideas from the entrepreneurs, the ideas that they generated, and have an entirely different kind of training program, and that's called Startup Now. It was funded by the Department of Commerce. We have a few of our students here right today. I was wondering if you all could stand up. Some of the Startup Now, please stand up. Okay, take a look, and if you have questions, please ask them or go over to our booth right over here to the south, 1043. So that program just ended. Now we have some foundation money to continue it. And to date, in Startup Now, we have put through 148 students. Some 40 have finished. 27 businesses have launched. And out of those 27 businesses, you'll be interested to know, 10 of them are technology businesses, and 6 of them are women-owned technology businesses. Isn't that great? Yeah, absolutely. So we really thank our partners here at Broward College.
Prior to going on to what we call Broward BCEx, which is Broward College Entrepreneurial Experience, it's very important for you all to know that Broward College is the very first college in South Florida that actually has a venture fund. It's called the J. David Armstrong Student Venture Fund. And those students that you saw in the video at the beginning are all going to be receiving dollars to continue on with their startup, going through their marketing and business plans, and also the products that they're generating. So let's give them a hand. I now would like to turn this over to both Henry Mack and Mildred Coyne to talk about the Broward College Entrepreneurial Experience.
Thanks, Stephen. So one of the exciting things that we found in partnership with CareerSource Broward and the Startup Now was that we found a way to make sure that the students that were participating in Startup Now, which is a 7-month-long curriculum, would have access to college credit certificates that rolled into an associate's degree and even into a bachelor's degree. So we were really diligent about making sure that our students had this lifelong learning experience. But what that really exposed to us is that we have an opportunity to make sure that the some 65,000 students that we serve in Broward College have access to an entrepreneurial experience. So whether our students are going to be an entrepreneur, they're going to work for a startup or an entrepreneur, or they themselves are going to work for a Fortune 500 company, we recognize that our students all need the competency to be able to be lifelong program changers, create innovative strategies within a company or an organization, be innovators and do customer discovery and iterate and problem solve within that organization so that all of our students have that competency to be the stellar talent that our community needs. So we formed what we called Broward College Entrepreneurial Experience, BCEx. And BCEx is really all-encompassing of the Innovation Hub and Startup Now, and where we're really creating an ecosystem for our students to have access, whether they have an idea and they're sitting in our classroom, because many of our students come to us not necessarily knowing exactly what it it is they want to be when they grow up, but they might have an idea, and we're trying to find ways and opportunities to engage and ignite those ideas and give them the skills and the tools so that they can turn those ideas into a potential startup or a business, but mostly to create that culture, that ecosystem, so that they can have some shared experiences with other students that have ideas and are sitting there. I mean, how many of you have had an idea and didn't necessarily know where to go with it? How to take that idea and map it through the processes to see if you have a viable business that can really make it in the marketplace. So we've been working with faculty throughout the summer months and we did a soft launch last fall where we're working with faculty and we're building co-curricular things that are happening outside of the student's classroom experience, but also curricular access and opportunities that are help them while they're in the classrooms, engaging with their ideas. And Henry has really been leading the charge for us, and I'll let Henry talk a little bit more in detail about those experiences.
Yeah, sure, if you don't mind, thank you. I'm reading the title of the talk, How Broward College has Mapped a Strategy to Drive Economic Empowerment through Collaboration, Education, and Entrepreneurship. And so this initiative, BCEx, is about cultivating principled habits of mind and character in our students through our student achievement programs and through the curriculum. So I want to pause and reflect on what that means to create principled entrepreneurial habits of mind and character, right? We're realizing that we need to graduate students that have a capacity for empathy, that understand virtue, that understand collaboration, and what it takes to really work well with others. So virtues such as respect, understanding, empathy, ethical mindedness, mental agility. These sorts of words, are kind of new to higher education, but doing it deliberately through BCEx is what we're about. And the data proves this out, right? Companies want people that can pivot, can innovate, can value create, but also have this, capacity to be agile employees and to be ethical mindedness, right? So Broward College Entrepreneurship is not just about creating an infrastructure for students to take their business or social idea to market. It is that, but it's about creating a culture, right, that can transform, enliven, and empower all of our students, because we know that the majority of our students are coming to Broward College because it is that opportunity for their economic and social mobility. We are an open access institution, admitting everyone who applies. So what are we providing by way of the infrastructure, by way of the education that will help them succeed in ways that they may not have otherwise sort of dreamt up or believed in?
Yes, and Steve, there's one other thing as well. When you go through this training program, you'll pick up all of these skills and what are loosely known as soft skills to the employers, and that's the chief thing that employers tell us are needed out there. So when I told you 148 went through and 40 finished, that meant 100 did not finish, but they found out that entrepreneurship really wasn't for them. It really wasn't something that they wanted to pursue, but then they went out and got jobs and they were better employees for it. So whether you want to start a business or not, this is a great training program.
I'll add one other piece to this as well. So one of the things that we know that we are far past the days of teaching any given student or individual how to do a task. That will never be sufficient in today's marketplace. Another reality of that, however, is that we know that 5 years from now, there will be, or 2 years from now, or tomorrow, there will be some new job, some new career that we had not considered or even thought of. And so fundamentally, we have to build into the infrastructure of our institution, which we've done in the infrastructure of the student thinking, is how is it that they prepare for what today they have no clue of. That is the magic of BCEx. It's ensuring that every student, no matter what turn comes before them, they recognize it beforehand. How do we make sure that our students, notwithstanding the fact that many of them come from low-income backgrounds, that they're Pell recipients, or that they are first-generation college students, how do we ensure that notwithstanding the challenges that come before them, they are prepared for them? They can see what's around the bend. They can go before the proverbial puck where it's going to be and not follow it. And so that's the real key with BCEx, and ensuring that that methodology, both from our faculty perspective, certainly from the leadership perspective of the organization, and to think about our faculty, ensuring that our students are well prepared for the workplace, no matter how different it may be tomorrow than it is from today.
And that's fascinating to do within a higher education institution, where we typically sort of funnel students into degrees and programs that are aligned to a specific skill. But within that program, within that degree programming, embedding these capacities, the ability to innovate, to be ethically minded, to be agile in the way that we're describing, is at the heart of, I think, 21st century higher education, and at the heart of BCEx, and really at the heart of what Broward College is about. When we talk about enabling people to achieve higher levels of social and economic mobility, this is the means by which we're sort of trying to do that.
One of the areas that becomes very, very important with BCEx is actually the faculty. Learning and teaching the faculty how also to think, because whether their students are in nursing, philosophy, religion, or business, we want those students to begin thinking somewhat out of the box, if you will, creatively, and become critical thinkers. One of the ways to do that, we're finding, is having to train and educate our faculty to also think in that regard. One of the areas that we talk about and we utilize very much at Broward College is team building and working as a team. Because what you find in today's business world, whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you're going to go work for a company, is that teamwork and working as a team becomes extraordinarily important. So our story that we're telling today has to do with entrepreneurship and has to do with social mobility. We talked about the Innovation Hub, we talked about the J.D. Armstrong Student Venture Fund, and we talked about BCEx. One of the most important movements that Broward College has had in its history since 1960 is called Broward UP, and I would like Greg to speak to that.
Sure, thank you very much, Steve. So Broward UP, the UP in Broward UP stands for Unlimited Potential, and it really comes from one single metric. If you were to look 50 years ago, you would find that the bottom quartile of income earners had about 6% of their kids going to college, and the top quartile of income earners had 40% of their kids going to college. You fast forward to today, and the top quartile has gone from 40% of their kids going to college to about 80% of their children going to college. And the bottom quartile has gone from 6% of their kids going to college to 9% of their kids going to college. And so we have what I think are very healthy discussions around the stratification of wealth and income in our community and in our country. But unfortunately, that discussion is often not coupled with the discussion for educational opportunity. Because I'm sure most, if not all of you, will agree, and the data bears it out invariably, and that is that if you get a post-secondary education, and the higher you go, it is going to have a significant impact on your economic outcomes over your lifetime. That's what the data tells us. And so as we continue to watch those with the resources do what they know is best for their economic outcomes, i.e. go to college and get a college degree, we see those numbers go up and we see the stratification of wealth and income become greater. And of course, without the resources, still, those who are just as talented as anyone else but come from a lower income quartile don't get the opportunity to go to college. That's why we're at 9% today. And so the question, you start looking at why that divide occurs. And there are many reasons that we won't go through all now, but some of them are very straightforward. Transportation, the simple inability to get from point A to point B. And when you think where a lot of our colleges are, and universities for that matter, we're not necessarily in communities that have low income, but great potential. What's often the case is we're in remote communities that require individuals who have no clue of what the college experience is like. Not only do they not have a clue, but they cannot lean on a parent or a family member or a friend because no one in their community can tell them what that experience is like. And on the worst end of the spectrum, there's a very real potential and reality for some that they are being told that college is not for you or it is not for your community. And that decision, in my view, is not to be left up to someone else. It's for the individual to decide. And how do we create those opportunities for individuals to decide? Well, we think about very saliently how many students or potential students just don't get the opportunity. And they don't know what college is like. And I'll share one quick story. At Broward College, we have a program called BC Cares, in which we go into communities, our Broward UP communities. And these are communities with very high unemployment rates and low college attainment rates. And so what we do is we go into communities and we'll do some good. And I had the opportunity just to knock on some doors in one particular community. and let them know I'm the president of Broward College and we're here and we want to make sure that you know about the possibilities for going to college. And one gentleman said to me that all I know how to do is fix motors, I can't go to college, without recognizing the power of an automotive program or the ability to move his automotive skills into airplane maintenance or some other very highly profitable career because he has decided or has been told that this is not for him. Another gentleman who I went up to his home and he said, college, I can't go to college because I've been to jail. We know that that's not the case, but some people have myths that we have to bust as well. So the question is, how do we do that? And so one of the things that at Broward College, notwithstanding the 63,000 students that we've talked about, is recognizing how many people that we miss in the process. I could tell you of a student who walks 4 miles a day to get to Broward College's North Campus. She's incredible. She has incredible will. But how many folks are reasonably deciding that they cannot make that same journey every single day? And so one of the things that we're really focused on, and it's led by many folks on this panel, including our partner, Mason Jackson, is how do we get into those communities to make it impossible for those students to miss the opportunity, to not realize their own unlimited potential to change their lives by way of a higher education. And that doesn't necessarily mean degrees. I've already intimated this. It may mean a certificate program. It may mean a degree. But it may mean what's ever best for that individual and that community. And our job is to wholeheartedly, not to make the decision for them, but to create every opportunity just like you would for anyone else. And I think it was Saif said earlier, something very important. When we're deciding who these opportunities are for, there's great research out there that talks about people saying, oh, is college for everyone? And I think it's about half of people who say, no, it's not. Not everyone has to go or get some post-secondary education. But you ask every one of those people who said, no, it's not for everyone, is it for your kid? Every hand goes up, right? Because we all want the best for our kids, no matter what, and we don't need to be the decision makers for them, certainly that early on. So Broward Up really is about providing and ensuring the unlimited potential and access for every single individual in our community.
You know, when we started the program, Startup Quest, in end of 2011, first part of 2012, we were just coming out of the recession. Job growth was really slow, and we had a lot of what we call professionals in transition. They're not unemployed people, they're professionals in transition. And we realized that one of the answers to getting a job is to grow your own job, right? And so that's why we got into that. And one of the answers to income disparity is to grow your own job, start your own business, and maybe get to a point where you're hiring other folks. And the trends in the labor market now are that people are moving toward being independent contractors. It's called the gig economy. And the numbers right now are that some 30% of the workforce are in the gig economy, and it may be as much as 50% by 2030. This makes nearly everyone an entrepreneur on their own. So this is the kind of training that you need to enter that kind of gig economy. Starts out with a boot camp where you get some common information about entrepreneurship taught by Broward College. It goes to then Lean Launchpad, where you look at product market fit and find out whether you have a viable idea or not. Then you go to Startup Plus, which is where you develop your business plan and you start making your pitches to investors, and you get really honed on your idea so that you know exactly how to sell it and to whom. And then the last phase is the launch phase, where you get space in the incubator and you get the help of mentors, and that's very important as well. You've got to have people who've been through this before to help you and guide you. They help you over the speed bumps. They help you with your motivation. They help you when it all looks dark and it doesn't look like you're going to be successful. And sometimes you may need to pivot and start your business in a different direction, and they'll help you with that as well. Great program, great partnership with Broward College.
And one of the things that we're really excited about Broward Up and the Startup Now and the entrepreneurship movement is that we're partnering with agencies and organizations within the community so that we can actually deliver these courses, the trainings, the skill development in the community where people live, in their neighborhood. It's a neighborhood model. We're bringing these opportunities by partnering with Boys and Girls Clubs so we can access the parents where they're comfortable dropping off their children for care. We're partnering with the YMCA and the Urban League, and we're delivering skill building and training so that people can see their path to develop an upskill themselves into a new career opportunity, and the entrepreneurship piece so that they can have access to all this great knowledge and information so that they can take an idea to market. So that's one of the beautiful things about Broward Up that we're really excited about, is that neighborhood model and really providing people access and overcoming then those barriers that people have to participate in trainings and entrepreneurship experiences, is helping them with transportation, helping overcome the barriers for childcare and tuition if their tuition is a problem. And so we're really excited about all the work that we have ahead, because it's going to take a long and hard process to make sure that people have access to the education, training, and experiences that they need so that they can find their economic upward mobility.
One of the aspects of Broward College and our entrepreneurship experience and program is that we have multiple entry points. And hopefully today what you've learned is that from the Innovation Hub to BCEx to the J. David Armstrong Student Venture Fund, and then leading up to Broward Up, we're trying to bring together the community, our students, and all organizations that are nonprofit, for example, in Broward County, together to help our community grow and also thrive. With that, I also would like to thank both Doug Sens and Enrique Tyre, who have helped us do a great job with this. And if you are here, can you just stand up and say thank you to you? Yep. Thank you so very much.